Andrea, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here and to, listen to your expertise.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. So thank you for asking. Just a quick little brief background about myself. So I currently live in Chicago, and August will be 20 years for me, which is super crazy. I'm originally from Oregon and grew up as an athlete myself. I actually played softball in college and have continued to be very active. I've been in the health and wellness industry for about 18 years, which is super crazy to even, think about that, but it's been a long time and I wouldn't have it any other way. In addition to that, I've been an entrepreneur since 2012, which has been a really wild ride in a lot of different areas, but also have a background in corporate America in terms of running teams, kind of helping scale businesses, grow teams, and helping grow other businesses. So I have an interesting background that has given me a really interesting Rolodex of experience and people that are kind of in my bubble. And I'm super excited to now have you in my bubble and be on here chatting with you about sport and business and strategy and how that relates to athletes as we age and, what we want to do in terms of longevity of our life and how we can kind of meld the worlds into the best of both worlds as we continue to, age through our journey.
I love the word age. Maybe that's just because I feel kind of aged, but the thing is that there are a lot of us who decide that we are so passionate about our sport that we want to make a business out of it. And I guess we could talk about like yourself, like myself. I've been in the fitness industry since 20 years, coaching for 15, have, done various, figure competitions right into cycling coaching. And now I marry the two with, the health aspect. And how do you put it all together to make it like a viable business? I mean, you've got that side, and then you have the athletes who are using their, their presence or, their position. So like, like a pro cyclist or like an Olympic cyclist, how do they leverage that portion or that, where they are in sport to build a business around that? Where do you want to start, Andrea?
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially as of recent. I've been having more and more conversations with different athletes at different stages, with the NCAA enacting these new rules so that, people in college and at a younger age can now get paid essentially for their likeness and or other things. It's really opened up gates because for a lot of athletes, you couldn't get paid in terms of sponsorships or brand deals or anything. And if they did, it's happening under the table, which everyone knows that happens, and it's a thing, depending on which sport you're in, right? And which college you go to. So it's interesting because at all these different levels, there's an opportunity depending on your likeness and your brand and your visibility. And then in addition to that, your God-given talent, or, your hard work and sweat equity in terms of what you can get. And a lot of times I think that it depends on, what your vision and what you stand for is, how you perform and how people are drawn to you. And is there a way that you can figure out how to monetize that with specific brands and or educate people that are drawn to your story or can identify with you? And there's a sweet spot for that because everyone has a story. You think about a business or you think about the things that we do and you think about athletes and their story and, their success or their pitfalls or how they've, came back. And everyone has a story of some kind. So once you have a little bit more clarity, in my opinion, about what your vision is or what's important to you or what you want to stand for, then it becomes easier to execute that vision.